with Olibogeng on OFM, the sound of your life.
You're listening to the OFM Business Hour, powered by Standard Bank Business Banking. I'm Olibogeng. According to the International Monetary Fund's latest Regional Economic Outlook for Sub-Saharan Africa report, Sub-Saharan Africa's economy is expected to increase by 3.4% in 2021, recovering from that 1.9% contraction witnessed in 2020. This growth will be supported by improved exports and commodity prices, along with a recovery in both private consumption and investment. Well, to get the latest in terms of the investment and economic news and opportunities in the space, we're speaking to Celia Becker. She's the executive responsible for Africa Regulatory and Business Intelligence at ENS Africa. Here's our conversation. Well, let's start in Southern Africa, Celia. Can you tell us more about the World Bank approving $380 million in financing that will trade, strengthen regional coordination, and increase diversified economic opportunities?
So, as you mentioned, quite a significant amount of financing from the International Development Association has recently been approved by the World Bank. This funding is aimed at supporting Malawi and Mozambique to increase regional trade coordination, develop regional trade value chains, and improve access to infrastructure. So it is expected to benefit both countries and local communities through economic opportunities along the Nacala and Beira corridors that connect Mozambique and Malawi, and also along the Maputo corridor that's connecting Mozambique to South Africa through Ponta do Ouro.
What's the latest in Botswana regarding their credit rating being downgraded?
In April, Moody's downgraded Botswana's long-term sovereign risk rating to A3 based on the deterioration in the country's fiscal accounts, which has also been worsened by the disruptive impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The outlook on the rating was changed from negative to stable following the downgrade, indicating that it's unlikely that there will be any further rating action within the next 12 to 18 months.
I'm speaking to Celia Becker on the OFM Business Hour, powered by Standard Bank Business Banking. She's the executive responsible for Africa Regulatory and Business Intelligence at ENS Africa. Looking at Malawi, what's the current situation regarding cannabis production? It seems to be a growing industry there. I know also in Lesotho we have a bit of a booming cannabis industry.
Indeed, quite interestingly, in Malawi, cannabis has emerged as an alternative crop to tobacco in the recent past, and there's a significant interest by both larger and smaller players in the industry. However, many smaller producers are challenged by the high cost of obtaining the required licenses to cultivate cannabis. For example, the license fee to cultivate, sell and process medicinal cannabis is $10,000, which is well outside of the reach of a small farmer. So the Farmers Union of Malawi has been arguing that the regulatory requirements discriminate against smallholders who comprise the majority of the farming population in the country.
We heard that Ugandan lawmakers have passed the National Climate Change Bill to cut greenhouse gas emissions and tackle the climate crisis. Can you tell us a bit more about it or elaborate on it? And could we see the same being implemented in SA?
So the National Climate Change Bill was passed by the country's parliament on the 28th of April and is now awaiting presidential assent to come into effect. It offers a framework strategy to guide the government in planning and budgeting for financing and monitoring of climate change programs and activities, including measuring emissions. Interestingly, in South Africa, there is a National Climate Change Bill that has been under consideration for a while, which is also aimed at building an effective climate change response. But even though this bill is not law yet, South Africa already levies a specific tax on carbon emissions by companies under the Carbon Tax Act of 2019, and there's also carbon levies that are included in the price we pay for fuel and the purchasing of motor vehicles.
This is a question that wasn't included in the pack, but I think it's certainly newsworthy in light of what's been happening with the terrorist attacks in Mozambique. Do you have any latest developments in that regard, especially with the Total gas deal?
Yes, so Total has actually declared a force majeure as a result of that. It will be interesting to see, what's going to happen in the near future. But I think for now, the project is very much on hold.
Sure, and that must be terrible for their economy because I think they were looking to capitalize from that gas industry.
Yeah, exactly. I think the whole economy is very much based on the gas industry and players in the gas industry, not only Total, but also the various contractors and subcontractors that were going to work on the project.
Do we see the situation improving anytime soon?
That's obviously anyone's guess, but I do think, many international companies are quite nervous of, operating in a country where their staff lives are at risk.
Thank you so much, Celia, for your time. We really do appreciate the update.
No, pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
That was my conversation with Celia Becker regarding some of the exciting investment developments on the African continent. We also spoke, albeit briefly, on the impact the terrorism attacks in Mozambique are having on the country's booming gas industry. It's quite a sad situation there. Now, if you missed my conversation with Celia, you can catch it on ofm.co.za, click on read, and then on business.
The Business Hour with Olibogeng on OFM, the sound of your life.